What's up with you all? My name is Otto and this video is about me overcoming my struggles in gym training plateaus and finding a simple but effective way to execute hypertrophy training. Cheers to Dr. Mike Israetel and his Hypertrophy Made Simple YouTube series about that. First, I tell you a little about my history with gym training and how it got to this point. I was in my early teens when I first went to the gym, okay? I went with my father first to get to know the machines and soon after with my basketball team to do some random so-called strength training under the guidance of the team coach. When I was 17 years old, I was taken care into the youth home. The youth home had a gym and I started going there. I started to execute gym training that I had learned from the basketball side training, okay? I did a 5-part workout split, so there was one day for each body part. Leg days were surprisingly on Friday when I was on the run from youth home, smoking and drinking and testing new drugs, youngsters, you know. Anyway, I learned early on from so-called strength training from basketball times that when doing exercises at the gym, you should do 3 sets of everything and aim for 10 reps every time. For 1 year, I did somewhat consistent gym training, but I stopped when I got out from the youth home. After a long 6 years of drug and alcohol abuse, I sobered up and found gym training again. That was about 4 years ago. After a couple of months of training the same way as before, 5-part workout split and 3 sets of everything, I started to listen to podcasts about the topic of bodybuilding. I started to notice that there might be more to it than just lifting some and getting results no matter what. At the beginning of my gym training, I did not want to get a coach because first, I did not have the money and second, I did not have anything going on in my life, so I took coaching myself as a challenge. Getting away from the volume was the hardest part because beliefs of minimum volume were too high. I learned about the deloads, which are the low volume training weeks, middle of the heavy training periods, where you are supposed to recover and prepare for the next hard training period. But I wondered why my body tells me to get deload every other week of training. I noticed the signs of the need to deload from joint pain. No wonder, because I started to do 3 sets of every movement right after the deload. However, this should have been the case after 4 weeks of heavy training and a week before the new deload. I should have started from 1 set and tracked how hard the set was and how close to failure it got. Training less was not an option because I had a fear that if I was not training enough, I was going to miss the gains. I heard from a podcast that frequency would be the key to the results. So I started to do push-pull leg split and started to train 6 times a week. I just didn't even split my already too high volume, but double it by doubling the frequency. I trained 6 times a week, approximately 2 hours per workout. It was winter and tried to gain muscle mass for the summer when I planned to do a cutting phase. After 8 months of doing that, the summer came and I started to burn fat. One day I took a photo of my physique and compared it against my last summer photo. I didn't see any noticeable muscle growing when comparing photos. Okay, fuck. After a hard-trained winter and many hours of the gym, I have not got any showable results. I was really confused and disappointed. I wondered how that could be. I did not give up and got more empowered, and I chose to find out a planned effective way to program my training. I started to do Google searching and watched YouTube videos. After a while, I discovered Mike Israetel's Renaissance of Periodization channel on YouTube and Hypertrophy Made Simple video series. I started to make notes from the video and it became clear to me that I should start my training for 1 set per muscle group after the reload. So this would be the science-based programming for a beginning gym trainer. Full body workout 1 to 3 times a week, Could it be this easy? What I've been searching for 4 long years. I did not have a choice but to try. I had been wasting my time to get no results, and this type of program would not waste my time even as near as much. I started to execute the program that I had done with help of Dr. Mike's Hypertrophy Made Simple video series. And after 5 months of mass gaining, I gained notable muscle mass, and I was more jacked for the next summer and the cutting phase. I want to spread the good news, and that's why I did this video. I want to give you the guidance that I would have hoped to get 4 years ago. Rest of the video, I show and demonstrate how I execute the hard working set and how I get there by using rising sets. Enjoy!
The first exercise is squat, which the target muscles are the quads. The squat is a compound movement, which means it uses your leg muscles all around. My goal rep range for a heavy working set is 5 to 10 reps. I start to make my way to hard working set with the help of rising sets, which helps to warm up my body and get my nervous system ready for the heavier load on my back. At first, I do lighter rising sets. I need a weight which I estimate to get 30 reps at tops. This is my first exercise, so I'm careful with adding weight. I would rather start from a little lighter weight and move there to heavier. In light rising sets, you do 10ish reps. I do 10 reps because I need to warm up. The main priority for rising sets is to get plenty of good technique reps. Next, I continue my warming up. I add a little more weight. I move up to the intermediate rising set, which is defined by weight that I can do at least 10 reps and 20 reps at tops. On intermediate rising sets, I do 1 to 8 reps depending how close I am to my heavy working set's weight. When I get closer to my heavy working set, the reps should decrease. I do 3 calm reps with good technique. I add a little bit of weight and move up to my second intermediate rising set. I estimate that weight is closer to my heavy working set's weight. I do 2 reps with slow and good technique, and while doing it, I estimate that weight is a little bit too heavy for my 5 to 10 heavy working set. This is not the issue because I can tune up to my nervous system by lifting 1 to 2 reps with heavier weight and by dropping weight to the heavy working set. I move up to the heavy working set, which is giving muscle stimulation. Control eccentric, keep your core tight, stop at the bottom, count 1, find your quads and push up yourself up with your heels. The set is hard when reps come to the rep range 5 to 10 and maximum reps in receive would be 5 repetitions. Last reps slow down, and this is a sign of an effective reps and a heavy working set. The next movement is a stiff-legged deadlift, which targets muscles or hamstrings, but it is a compound lift and hits the legs all around, plus the hands and part of the back too. I use a rep range of 5 to 10 and I start to make my way up there by using a light rising set. This machine is new to me, so I don't rush to the heavier weight. I prefer lightweight to get to know the movement of the machine and how to operate it. 4 reps are enough to find the hamstrings. I add a little bit more weight and estimate that with it I could do a maximum of 20 reps. It then hits the criteria of an intermediate rising set. I noticed that the weight is too light for my intermediate rising set, so I add more weight after one repetition. I focus on to getting technique perfect, arch my back a little bit so I could move down with my core tight. Previously done squats have been warming up my legs, so I don't need that many rising sets anymore. I add a little bit of weight and estimate that this weight could be optimal for the 5 to 10 rep range. If my breathing gets too heavy, I can hold up for a couple of seconds in a standing position and continue the set when breathing gets easier. In heavy working sets, the last reps are more difficult to lift, but when I have lifted the difficult rep, I don't let it fall to the ground. I control eccentric because it is half of the movement and hard earned. I don't want to waste it. I do 7 repetitions and estimate that I could have done 4 repetitions at the most before a failure. Now the lower body has been done, and the next is the rest of the body. Next up is the incline bench press, which is chest movement in this program. I chose it because I want to prioritize upper chest development. Though the chest is the target muscle, pressing is compound lift and the triceps and shoulders get indirect stimulus from it. When doing the movement, I noticed that the weight is too light for the light rising set. I estimate that I could do more than 30 repetitions with this weight. So, I add a little bit of weight to aim for the light rising set criteria. The criteria are 30 reps at max at the light rising set. Changing grip to lower helps me to ease up shoulder pain and target the upper chest more. I swing my hands around a little bit to warm them up. I have shoulder pain, so I need to be careful and warm up with care. It is time for the first intermediate rising set. I add a little more weight, estimating that it would hit the criteria of the intermediate rising set, 20 reps max. I control eccentric, stop at the bottom, find the upper pecs and push the weight up to the joint support. I do 6 almost perfect and calm repetitions. I add up a little bit more weight and I estimate that it will still hit the criteria of the intermediate rising set, so 20 repetitions maximum. I add a little bit of weight and estimate that it will hit the criteria of a heavy working set. I am aiming for a 5 to 10 rep range, so the reps would come to the range and maximum of 5 reps in receive. I focus on always flexing the muscle, keeping movement calm and controlled. Muscles don't have eyes, so it can't see how much weight I'm lifting, but it sure can feel when I'm flexing it under the load. Next up is the shoulder press for side deltoid stimulation. The shoulder press is a compound lift, so it hits the triceps and shoulders all around. I had to warm up my shoulders previously carefully, but now when I have done it, I don't have to do it anymore. They feel good and I can jump over the light rising set straight to the first intermediate set. I estimate that with this weight I could do 20 reps, so it hits the criteria of the intermediate rising set. I do 7 calm and controlled repetitions with the stop at the bottom. It is time for a second intermediate rising set. I am adding a little bit more weight. I do 3 calm and controlled repetitions, estimating that this weight could be ideal for the heavy working set and 5 to 10 rep range. I keep the weight the same as in the last intermediate rising set. Repetition starts from the bottom where it lays on the rack and it stops at the top where it is on the joint support. This is full repetition and they are what I count on to track my progress. Next up is the pushdown movement for my triceps stimulation. I have already done 2 pressing movements exercises where the triceps have been helped on the lifts, so they are warm up and ready to lift by now. I hop straight into the intermediate rising sets. I do 2 controlled repetitions so to locate my triceps and add more weight. I move into the next intermediate rising set. Core tight, shoulders back, chest up and push down. I am taking my elbows back when controlling eccentric. Only the forearm should be moving, not anything else. It is time to move into the heavy working set, which I'm doing 5 to 10 rep range because it doesn't cause pain to my elbows and I get a good pump for my triceps from it. If you don't get a good pump from a shorter rep range, or if a shorter rep range causes you joint pain, you can try to increase your rep range to 10 to 15. I do 8 reps, which hits my 5 to 10 rep range. I estimate that I could have done 3 more before the failure, and 5 in receive is the maximum for criteria of heavy working set, so I got this on the point indeed. Next up is a lat pulldown, which is a compound pulling exercise. My target muscle in this exercise is the wide back muscles called lats, but biceps, back deltoids and back all around get indirect stimulus from it. I start with lighter weight because I want to know how the machine works and which grip is the best for the target muscle stimulation. First, I do 1 rep, 10 add a weight and do 3 reps more. I add weight and estimate that with a raise it will hit the criteria of intermediate rising set. I do 4 reps and think that I have could done 15 reps at max. I estimate from experience from the last intermediate rising set that the next add to the weight will hit the criteria of the heavy working set and rep range of 5 to 10. After one pull, I estimate that I could add weight from 27.5 kilograms to 30 kilograms. I make that add and start the heavy working set. I pull the grips that deep that tension is still in my lats, but not that deep that tension would go to my shoulders. I breathe out. I am not moving backward more than I must. I contract my lats by moving my shoulders blades together. I control the eccentric part of the movement and take my breath at the same time. I count 1 at the stretch, contact my lats and pull down. I do 6 reps in a 5 to 10 rep range. Next up is curls, which target the biceps. My target rep range for the heavy working set is 10 to 15 because the heavy load in bicep exercises causes me elbow pain. Using the longer rep range, I can use lighter weights which don't cause joint pain, and the pump is great. This is single joint exercise for the biceps, and I'm doing it after the last exercise, Lat Pulldown, which caused stimulation for the biceps too. This is why I feel safe to jump directly to the first intermediate rising set. I add weight and estimate that it will hit the criteria of the heavy working set and 10 to 15 rep range. I make calm and controlled repetitions, only my forearm is moving and the rest of the body stays still. I do 10 repetitions and you can see how the last reps slow down. The last reps are heavier, but I control eccentric because I don't want to waste half of the rep.